best stopping point you're gonna find here in this chapter.
I mean, we will see, because as you know, I was working up until now, so I am quite not fully awake, but we will see. All we know, I mean, you know more than me, but all I know is that we are gonna see heaven and hell. That
Right,
sounds
and
like a city village. They are going up the mountain and they fall down.
well, in the last chapter, they took a break in some kind of cave.
Yeah? Wait, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's where they were discussing philosophical conversation, like about elements and all that.
I mean, I remember the philosophical part, I just don't remember the cave part for some reason.
Okay.
Now I know.
Well, they needed some shelter. It's getting kind of windy and snowy out there.
But I already have a theory about this title. It sounds like we are heading into a volcano.
Okay. Well,
It can still
that
be snowy up there, but usually some people call heaven high places and hell hot places with lava.
all right. All of that can happen with a mountain. There's just contradictory energies that might evoke for the travelers up here, both of which can exist in this world.
I mean, it doesn't have to be this one, they have a time machine.
Hmm.
And we know that hell has to break loose at one point, because this medicine is not existing anymore.
The middle word, by the way, also suggests, and I don't know if you noticed this, a sequence of events.
Yeah,
Heaven, then hell. It occurs in that order.
I mean, they are now in heaven, as they say. Then everything
Yeah.
is harmonious. It can,
Okay.
it can say refer to trouble as well.
Could be. As a matter of fact, that character seems to be the only hint that danger may exist in this place.
But, once
Well,
again,
well,
he
other
might
than
not be the problem.
themselves. Perhaps not, yeah.
I mean, even if it's an Alice in Wonderland reference, which it is, the haircut was not a problem either. Maybe we will
Yeah,
see the Queen of Hearts.
the other thing that these travelers have brought is themselves and everything that comes with that.
I mean, that's bigger trouble than trouble itself.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, let's see, what kind of music do we want? I don't even
I
know
would
this
say,
music, so
actually, I would say super pleasant at first. And one more thing, the characters themselves will be singing. So, um, if you have any song that matches that theme, I would recommend that.
it's just a lot of wind.
Interesting.
No, there is some environmental music in there.
I would say something uplifting, something vibrant.
This is not, I thought it would be. Terminator. Anyway. Oh yeah, I know that one. That was in a 5 second loop. I'm not playing that. Good thing I haven't. I didn't have any time to check any of the songs. Okay, let's remember the meter. That might be good for trouble.
What was the name of that song? Or can you
Th-
mark it or memorize?
meter.
Okay.
Oh no, this can be fine. Doesn't have to be too loud.
Okay.
What's the one? Come on. Then hell. Most of the group is singing. This isn't because of Derpy, of course. And then Aston immediately joined. Because they both know and love this song. With a bit of delay, Nang even to enjoy the song. Even though the part of her felt awkward and embarrassed to do so. Well, Louisa feels like an unprofessional. All she has been spending the last several days getting emotionally closer to others. While on the unusually ideal circumstances. Ah, I was like confused a little bit because of the sudden sentence break. It almost feels like as if these conditions became this conductive to social bonding in order to encourage a pony who is unusually resistant to it. In the end, that is the lesson of this experience, at least for her. I mean, yeah, ponies are usually group creatures.
Travel in a herd.
And they are in an area where it is incentive to talk to one another because you are the only one around.
Right.
The one pony in the group that didn't join the chorus and never did in the locality. Ah, I thought it would be disturbing.
It already established she did in the first paragraph.
Yeah,
Feather and stern.
I know, but
And
that's what I meant.
and,
That
and Derpy started the song herself.
yeah, it's as if she doesn't know how. Maybe she is tone deaf and just doesn't want to embarrass herself. She does observe the others too, though, and even echoes them sometimes, including this moment. However, short observation of the others informs her many details about this group dynamic from a psychological standpoint. Because of that, she feels she has gotten a lot of valuable data outside of formal setting. There's a private psychological counseling with each of them, but it's very new so far. I know she's a magi, but all this data gathering reminds me of the Cyberman. By now, the doctor is well aware of their extravagant and private nature, which has slowly been coming across the duration of this trip. Possible reason is that there is some effort on their part to open up to the others. She's trying, and she wants to, but she spent many years. She spent so many years in the forced social isolation that it has become a habit for her. The characters realize that there are sensitive trust issues, but her willingness to try to open up to this group indicates that she tells them far more than she normally does with others. Dr. Kennedy is smart enough to have some educated guesses why that is so. Oh, sorry, my nose is all stuffy. So you might actually understand me less.
Okay. Well, I was actually thinking earlier that I understand you pretty clearly, and you just made a lot of progress on your healing your throat.
I mean, it is a lot better than, than
Some
earlier.
of your some of your earliest reactions while recording other shows like MLP was actually less clear because English was newer to you at the time, I think.
And that might have been not just because I wanted to do it. It was the first, the first season was literally made because of a mess.
When I look at you now, I actually see you just confident in the language now, so much you don't even have to question it anymore.
I do question myself every day.
Well, it's typical for you to encounter a new word with each of these chapters you read. That might be especially common with the longer chapters, just because there's more words available.
I mean, that's usually if you are reading and combating with others, then you will encounter different words.
Sure.
I mean, that is how you practice the language.
Oh yeah. I
And
bet you though, a lot of the new words you learned across this story, you've not retained a majority of that information unless you continue to use that word ever since then.
usually I don't use them.
Yeah. Hence the reason you didn't recognize it in the first place.
I mean, when you don't even see them being used, only maybe in literature, which this is as well.
Oh yeah, that's understandable.
But yeah, this group, by Dr. Kelly, is the only ones joining the song. And I've been informed them that the element of space often responds positively to the music, especially if the song supports the general mood. Happy, loving, and joyous music almost always evokes a response from them. It's only a guess, but I feel that any music with a negative mood might actually give you the local element of space, because it is so foreign to this environment. But it most likely would encourage them to join and might even chase them out. Do I have a picture? I mean, this is the closest I can bring up. There you go.
Okay.
When the spirits are actually joining you on your dance and singing. There we go. This is where we go. This theory was never tested though, because those kind of songs have never come up so far. Do they even know those kind of music? After all,
Melancholy music? Melancholy music? I suspect so. At least some.
I mean, melancholy is not really. I wouldn't call melancholy a negative uh mood. It is a mood, but not a negative per se.
So it's cheerful instead?
It's not cheerful,
Hmm.
but I would say it's more neutral.
Okay. So why do I feel so melancholy?
When I think of negative mood, I would say I would think of anger and hatred.
Okay.
Which I don't think they really have that kind of music. They don't have heavy metal and thrash metal. That would be strange. I mean, EFC Fluttershy knew that once. The fan made music, but
Perhaps they do, but it was never featured in the show. The way it was hinted at, I mean, if you remember Starlight's room, it does point to uh, heavy rock theme.
I've been thinking of Starlight.
Almost.
Remember that song? It was cheerful, but still in a negative mood.
Well, that was certainly Pinky's perception.
Yeah? After all, these bullets are in the environment too. It has heavy psychological influence on them that is difficult to resist, especially over time. In this space, elemental spirits are more visible than they usually are. Usually they are not visible. The most common form they take is that those bodies can see with their naked eyes in balls of energy of various colors that dance and swirl around them. Ah yeah, we have that. That is usually how they represent spirits. Not that. I want to bring up spirits in a way, but that will be problematic.
Why?
Because
Isn't it just a picture?
yeah, but Ghibli is just as defensive about copyright as Disney is.
Well, okay. Well, it is a very visual medium, so that's the source of their income.
It might have been nothing, but there you go. That's a good representation of spirits. And the bars of light.
Oh yeah. One difference here is it mentioned various colors in that paragraph.
I mean, there were various colors in this one as well, but
Well,
not
I
in this
guess so.
picture.
This is a frozen image. Had it continued, perhaps it would have shifted colors.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, those were especially water spirits, that's why they are blue.
Okay.
What lead me assume that they are usually the color that they represent. Which element they represent. I represent the element of magic, what color am I? They can fade in and out of the visible spectrum for this point. But even if they are invisible, they are still there for as long as they choose to be so. If they don't, they are incorporeal and they can fly to solid structure accordingly. Even if it's the body's physical abilities, which can be sometimes be fast. Especially if they are sensitive to feeling energy, such as Dr. Kelly. Or filament. It's a powerful filament to notice this, but they can also represent teleport and sphere. Those planets actually cause what they do. Instead, they just slowly fade away, if possible, and fade in at another location. It seems like they have a twin. It seems they evidently have a way to keep pace in between. They can also split apart and match which they have originally demonstrated. For all we know, you call them spirits, but I call them dancing lights.
That basically is what they look like, yeah.
No, I meant the D&D spell that's in light. That is
Yeah,
being cast by Trouble right now. Who knows? Maybe it actually happens. So then there's other evidence of influence by the elemental space, such as changing temperature, air pressure, electrical activity, sudden gusts of wind, even if it's only a gentle breeze. Yeah, you are describing a weekend necroticus right now. Another way the influence is noticeable, which is especially so in the crystal cave, is when they affect the light shining off the other crystal in this cave. They normally give just give us a glow of some kind. Intensity of and color varies with each crystal. But under the influence of the elemental space, the pattern occasionally changes. Yeah, these crystals have their own frequency and the elements have their own as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like a song. Sometimes crystals glow brighter. Sometimes they dim. Sometimes they gleam. Sometimes they flash.
You heard correctly. That was a phone call.
There should be no one coming, so
Okay.
if it's the postman, they should put the thing here. There literally is a misunderstanding in our house that there is literally another, what is it called? How do we call it?
Skywalker.
No, not Skywalker. There's no Skywalker here. There's a store beneath us with the same number as our house. Which makes it stupid that a lot of people are calling us to bring stuff to the store.
Okay.
I mean, if it's something important, then we're calling them.
I thought it might have been your mother again.
No, it's not. No, it was the gate phone.
Ah, okay.
And then the light shifts around the crystal, and one can see one or more shadows that surround it. Whatever form of visible influence that manifests here, it is in support of whatever music is being played. Imagine the tempo and theme of whatever the song is. Because of all of this, it makes it overwhelmingly obvious that these poets are not alone. Whatever else is out there with them might not be fully sentient per se, at least in the traditional sense, but it does react to whatever energy these poets cast off from themselves. The spirit's general mood is largely playful and upbeat. Which of course is why Duff is having the easiest time connecting with them. He and those spirits seem to have a lot of natural energy. Energy between them, not energy. I mean energy as well. Probably nature is naturally connecting this kind of atmosphere. Playful, happy.
That says conducive.
That's connective.
Mhm.
I mean, connective as well. Playful, happy, childlike, curious, and highly innocent. And also, you know why? These spirits are like bubbles. They are shiny bubbles.
Kind of, yeah.
Today, however, there are a few surprises in store for them. The first of these is the fact that the Oliver music joins them. At first, it just seems to be coming from the crystals, and that is true, but in time, the music turns into a more organic sounding voices, and eventually, this grows responds a new source. Other creatures fade into existence in much the same way. These elemental space balls too. The new ones seem to be important shade at first, and even have the correct size. They too are four-legged creatures in the center of our body. Single leg, head, and tail extending out of them. These creatures have more fur, though particularly around their heads and neck. But it made it look like a lion's mane. So they are more like kittens. They also have some hair extending off the back of each of their hooves. Your curious still is some scales that extend down a certain portion of their body, and particularly stick along the backside and back of their leg. Don't tell me they are kittens. If the next sentence I read is gonna be like, they have also a horn. They also have Okay, I'm kind of speechless, but okay, we can establish that they are the spirit of Karen. They also have horns on the top of their heads. The point that observe them keeps the light, and the appendage on their head on that has the same function as the unicorn's horn. But the curved shape of them is something unique to each one. It almost looks like elegantly carved tree branch instead of a typical pointy or unicorn horn. In this case, it's kind of magic. The way their horns glow is different too. It's like they have glowing arcane lights in their horns instead of the entire horns glowing with energy. Just like a purely unicorn, no. The actual color of that each of these horns glow appears to be actually unique to each one. So, I'm assuming these Karen are not the same Karen as the show. This is in the past. Yeah, this has to be in the past.
Very distant past, but the description matches the Kieran perfectly. One detail that's a little different is the fact that they faded in from out of nothing, as if they were spirits themselves.
What if they were there the whole time and it was just a spell? It can happen. But they can still be just spirits. They became one with nature.
Since you could put it that way, maybe Pinky is one too. She has suddenly appeared and disappeared. In such mysterious ways. Like I remember her sister was chasing after a pony that her sister sold the cannon to. He says all sales are final. He walks a few paces away from her and encounters her again in his path, just almost immediately ahead of him again.
Yeah, that happened. But that is just Pinky. Don't question Pinky.
Now, in Pinky's case, she could be more unusual. Like she says, a tough crowd. And then another Pinkie Pie off to the stage says, "Tell me about it."
Yeah.
Indicating she's in both locations simultaneously.
But so yeah, these are the kids that did not decide yet to be silent.
Yeah,
These are the
very
kids
ancient,
that really like to sing.
very ancient version of Kieran.
I mean, kids is a very ancient race.
Probably.
I would actually say that in mythology, kids are more ancient than unicorns and parasites.
That just might be true. Yeah.
The funny thing that stands out about each of these creatures is apparently shining aura on each of them. Because of that aura, tends to match whatever their whole color is. On the other hand, would notice that is not always the case. That sounds like a magic is being cast all the time
Yeah. So
around
it's
them.
not just their horns, their whole bodies are glowing.
Yeah?
And that matches one detail about the Kirin, but more specifically the Nyrics. They too had flaming auras all around them. Well, this is what would happen, what they look like if it was not anger, but purity.
Yeah,
That they're
harmony.
just radiating, yeah.
And the wind, the Hindu, and the lesser extent, Dr. Kelly are the ones in this room to properly identify the name of the species, which in this case is known as Karen, and also Mamu as well, but he is not there.
Okay.
No, it's known as Karen in the respective timelines, but this is the first time any of them have personally met one. Of this group, the ink has come the closest to doing so in the past. You mean in the future?
Well, her
In
past.
yeah,
It says that too.
oh yeah, in her past. In her case, she never met a living example, but has found some of the bones and ancient ruins. She knew very well that living examples might be still out there in the world somewhere. Only now, it's found the time when she encountered not just one of them, but several. I mean, even in the show, they were living in a secluded place.
Yeah, I make that remark because I'm well aware Daring's an archaeologist, so she's more exposed to what's out there in the world.
Yeah?
So I gave her the benefit of the doubt and give her not just knowledge, but a little bit of experience with the species.
I mean, even I would actually think that wait, yeah, Padawan identified as well. That's why I told that I would actually say that Padawan identified them as well because they didn't only learn science but probably mythology and theory as well.
Well, yeah, Feather's aware of them from an academic standpoint, but same as Twilight was. But it was mentioned in that episode this species was kind of unknown, um, indicating that the race, to their knowledge, is never encountered a Kirin. So I have to hold that thought about um, to, to keep to keep continuity in canon. Yeah, Featherwood would not have met him um, until he did something like this, traveling to the ancient past.
There you go. There's a kid.
Interesting.
It's an unknown.
Okay. Anyway, we were done with that paragraph.
And the visiting elemental spirits before them, the primary interest of this group of kin isn't be the same. It takes time to notice this, but even the mindset seem to be the same as well. The Emperor is far more on raw instinct, alone rather than any sort of logical thought. Then you just call them stupid? No, we call them feral. Primal. It only means they can't talk. They probably don't even think in words, and they never did. We don't
That
need a cave.
that last sentence has a strange synergy to their first appearance in the show. That this likely means they can't talk. But the one who did loves to sing.
They was another thing. There you go. They probably don't even think in words, and they never did. Instead, they are swept up in magical passion at all times, which is probably why their bodies and toes are growing so much. They are also probably not fully corporeal beings. They seem to be a form of the moment, but the truth is, they are just made of energy. They are probably solid. That's why they were able to fade in, or seemingly out of nowhere, and they can depart in the same manner. This can be troublesome. If we see that even lying is slowly opening up and breaking out from her shell, slowly opening up to the harmony that is encasing all of you, and we have not seen any other beings other than Trouble, and now again, which have already became one with nature, it seems like.
Yeah.
This can show you that there can be a problem if you open up too much. You might become one with nature as well.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing, but then you wouldn't be you anymore.
Well, that's true. Arguably better? You probably become like them, and their existence, by what's presented here, is blissful.
Yeah?
But, like you said, also primal.
I mean, we may see what they are. They're just enjoying the music for now.
Right? Yeah. It's kind of like it's almost as if it lured them.
I mean, yeah, it is different than what they are used to.
Oh, yeah.
So the guy said that was recording this whole time with her thrones. Initially, it was for posterity, but it was for posterity to have a record of these groups of progressing social dynamic. A scientific curiosity about direction and the influence these elements of space have in the existence of this game. But now, he becomes even more determined to let the recording continue the minute the gears show up. At this point, he has told initiate some scans as well after a brief moment of hesitation. Because he felt that knowing that might change the new creatures away, and the way so appears to have no relation in them for the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if those recordings have will not even show the can in them. You will just see an empty game.
Keep that in mind then. Let's see if you're right as you continue.
Curiously, there appears no least reaction to the arrival of the can, because by then, she was already in musical trance. In fact, her melody shifted to match that. about. It is the other way around. Oh no. I just had a thought of that. Once again, the becoming one with the nature.
Hmm.
But I have another thought that is from Doctor Who. And this, I think you know what I'm thinking about. I don't know the name of that creature.
That might hinder your ability to find them then.
Especially if I write in the Doctor and I get all the fucking all the Doctors in the world, then not the Doctor. Let's write Doctor Who then. If I see them, I will realize that. Oh no. I may not find it because there are many other episodes of Doctor Who. I was thinking about the episode when he was I think it was with Rose, but they were on a hot planet and they were in a what is it called? An armored tank like washing with multiple people. And slowly one person started talking like the Doctor.
Okay. No, it's not Rose. That was another individual who
But
was not actually in that episode. No, she was, but she was only towards the beginning. Yeah, it was just the doctor that was inside that vehicle. I now know what you're talking about. There was too much light that was outside of that vehicle.
yeah,
Too bright and maybe too hot. Um, so they needed that transport and to facilitate a safe passage for those inside.
they're slowly shifting to match the same tone. Reminds me of that. I
can
don't
also
remember the name of the creature at all.
Since they're all the Doctor, I can only help you to distinguish that particular one as the one played by David Tennant.
It's not even I have because, and I said if I saw the picture I would have known then the scene, but
Well, if you input Doctor Who and David Tennant, you will get a very specific image of the Doctor, and probably various outfits he wore over time.
yeah, I wasn't searching for the Doctor. I was searching for the creature.
Hmm. I just don't recall it even mentioning the name of that race in that episode.
Yeah, what you say know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I do.
In addition, they also dance as well in the Crystal
Actually,
King.
I don't. I think you skipped that sentence above. At that point, there are no lyrics to the song.
Yeah, at that point there was no sentence being heard. There are no lyrics to the song, just harmony coming instead. In addition, they also dance as well in the Crystal Cave. The maiden is synced with each other to the degree of highly unusual perfection. It is as if in the moment they are all one mind and spirit. That is controlling multiple bodies. Just like as if the world was actually casting dancing lights. And I said, In average, each body is merely a single limb extending from the same body. The music and movement complement each other from far to wide, to within otherwise. At that point, announcement, drumming, and there do. Some joining the music and instead observe this new phenomenon. They are all cautious at first, but finally is the first to relax about what they see. I will have one red flag. If I see drumming joining everything and not being nervous about anything she
Okay.
sees.
Oh yeah, would be very different for her. Yeah, you're right. When dealing with the unfamiliar, she'd probably be usually cautious.
Even takes a moment to concentrate on the red crystal, and use it to absorb some of this positive energy happening in the game right now. He also smiles in delight, but it is not being so happy at this moment. I have my red crystal moment right now. This is my red crystal moment.
I think you're aiming at the dog?
Yeah, most of them are
Okay.
there. But I can move the camera there.
It's strange to describe them as a red crystal, but alright.
No, I said red crystal moment.
Okay. Ah, I get it now.
Getting that Luke sees into a cunning mom. As well, you'll realize how this moment will be useful to Duffy, and even her group later on. Lying excellent remains on high alert. Good. Good. They carefully scan everything in front of them for signs of trouble. But they can't find the creature. Well, the reason they don't do anything else is because they aren't observing any obvious signs of trouble. Instead, it is the opposite. Yet, these are mere fully trusted. Yeah, I don't trust that this is not trouble. With them, the capital T. It is just too highly unusual to them to settle with them fully. Despite the god, there is no denying that the music is beautiful, and otherwise in the game. The kind of music that can make any other kind of music they are accustomed to feel in comparison. How dare you? In fact, this is why they will have trouble remembering this full later. The quality is just too good for the page to possess. Yeah, this is the first time they see in HD. I mean, literally, if you went back to the past and showed a full digital color picture to someone, it depends on how far away you go back. They either hang you for being a witch, or they see you as a magician, or you are scientifically advanced.
I never saw HD to stand out quite so drastic compared to the previous version. What I would have given is much more black and white, literally. You take a television, let's say a modern television, back in time to the time period when there was television existed, but they only were in black and white. And then if they see television in color, they might be more strikingly amazed.
I mean, have you watched all YouTube videos?
All of them? No, I have
Not
not.
all of them, old.
Old, okay. I have seen some, yes.
You can clearly see that. Compared to that, HD is a big jump.
Okay. Still think it's not quite as drastic a jump as color television versus black and white.
I mean, yeah.
That's day and night.
But yeah, it is a too good quality. This is only beyond the quality anyone the mortal can possibly achieve. So saying memory of it later, they are actually difficult. I mean, you have a recording which might not be able to record it. The other thing that we are preserved is, to some extent, is the raw emotion of the moment, which is being captured in the red crystal.
Right.
Not the singing or dancing motion that caused it. I mean, usually that is most of the thing you remember, right? You first
Emotion.
remember how you felt, then you remember what happened.
I don't know if that's always true for some people. I mean, some people can think really literally and logically. Um, might think back to the event of when they solved a mathematical equation, and then later think, after I solved it, how did I feel? And then it could go in that order.
I mean,
I guess
yeah.
it just depends how your brain and memory is wired and how it works. It may also depend upon the moment. Sometimes the emotion jumps out at you more, and sometimes something else.
Yeah. They will also remember that it was music and dancing that occurred at the moment, but the details will fade like a dream. Which in a way is a bad thing because otherwise they would not be able to enjoy any other music at the Monday mortal level of quality. I mean, yeah, watching a masterpiece would literally hurt your mind.
I kept on getting the feeling that if Equestria was real in the way the cartoon presented it, but more intense because you're actually there, I have a feeling the ambient atmosphere and the music they have would be, in general, more intense than anything on the Earth because they have a higher vibrational level of energy, strong enough to make magic more common. Um, so while that world would be a step up above ours, this world is a step up above theirs.
I mean, if Equestria was real, then the humans would ruin it.
Okay.
We know it as all too well.
Well, they existed in some of the older iterations of MLP, and there's not many people that call that better quality.
I mean, that wasn't better quality.
It had its fans at the time, though, because they couldn't compare it to any better standard. But you can also make that same argument that there's a lot of kids that loved Barney the Purple Dinosaur when they were kids, and when they grew up, a lot of people grew out of that phase and eventually, sometimes even despised him.
Hmm.
Perspectives can change as you change in life.
Yeah, it is true. I didn't even know that quality line that exists at all. And that's all we remember, even in the mortal minds can't. I mean, yeah, this is why you don't want to even taste ambrosia.
That is a pretty good analogy of what's occurring right now. Something that's too good, beyond the quality of mortal can. I think it kind of makes sense then why they would have trouble remembering it because the standards is way too high.
Yeah, that in turn has an influence on the rest of their lives. Everyone what?
So yeah, that last sentence indicates that while it's hard to consciously remember exactly what they're saying and the exact movements they made in their dancing, they still feel the emotion and can kind of remember it, and that has a subtle influence on the rest of their lives because that part of the experience remains with them.
I mean, that actually says literally all of your memories.
Hmm. Right.
But obviously some are more interesting than the others.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the influence of that music is so overwhelmingly positive, the narration that they gradually but never fully relax their guard. Red flag.
Hmm.
Most men are low to shake Nerfy out of a musical test, but it's clear she's having such a joyous time of her life. So they say ready for action, just in case it's sad. The performance felt timeless, right across, almost like it's eternal, which is yet another reason why the others can't remember it well later on. How can the mind possess something that is truly pure and eternal? Besides, when the memory later fades about this moment somewhat, it becomes even more difficult to identify and how long it took. I mean, the doctor would remember it, but he's not here.
Now, there's a decently good point. He can process information at a level that's beyond mortal ken. Um, I think he has his limits too, but tends to be higher standard than a typical human mortal.
I mean, there are no humans here, so
I heard that mentioned several times that it's because of that they have a different perception of time, too. Hence why they can notice more details about it.
I mean, I would actually say that we don't really have all the reference of what Time Lords can do or cannot do. Because we have seen two of them, basically. We have seen the Master and the Doctor. And
there's more. If you watch the older show.
yeah, but that's what we usually what we saw in bigger.
Yeah. Even in the newer show, there's a few more over time. Eventually get introduced to. Most of them are not that good.
For all we know, there might be a lot of there might have been a lot of talents who can literally see through time, just like a quanticoder or whatever it's called.
Alright, let's proceed.
But for us, it's timeless. Right across. Almost everything is eternal. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it was even more difficult to identify which paragraph I had.
Well, the highlights still helped. It helped you to know that it's not the paragraph above that.
Yeah. But she later checks to carry eventually discovered that even her equipment gets confused with regard to how long the performance actually took. According to it, like a tipping back and forth randomly, and the size of the performance itself, the files, not the flight, itself is not corrupted. Because it had a hard time recording two other imperfections. It's just a scramble of data. There is no legal changing or nothing at all. As I said, I will be surprised if it can't even record it.
Right. Yeah, you called it, and I told you to remember that.
I mean, that is usually a thing with profile things. That you can't really record them. That's why I call all the recordings of any ghost or anything bullshit. On the current, which usually seem to be all female for some reason, she vanished and Mistress and the was appeared. By then, the music came to its natural conclusion. However, the ship's suddenness to the temperature has a curious hole in the atmosphere. As joyous and uplifting the presence had been, the sudden departure left the room feeling curiously empty. All of a sudden. A danger instinct and through the system of storm, thunder, and daring as well. It made them think, and especially by the kid departed so swiftly. They had a shift in the mood, going, and it's not compatible with their nature. And they are so in tune with their instinct, and they acted before the danger even came. So this is the calm before the storm. And
Yep.
sounds like trouble is coming. Not in the session though. Why she was the one who was most certain in the passion of the musical moment. She fainted instead of matching like the other kid did. Yeah, it would be strange if she disappeared as well.
But you notice there's a very similar, almost as intense of a reaction. Why did she faint? Like, did her spirit go with him or something like that?
No, luckily, I assume not. But as I said, it is dangerous to be assimilated into nature.
The other possibility you might consider is she was so swept up in the energy of that moment that she gets exhausted about it later on. But the Kirin, being more purely elemental spirits or spirits, can handle that kind of energy without being overwhelmed. You could possibly say the reason they faded away is because, in a way, the Kirin were overwhelmed as well, and no longer able to sustain a physical form, kind of alluding to their own form of exhaustion.
I mean, for all we know, that these kids did not have a corporeal form to begin with, right?
That's quite possible, yeah. They may be naturally spirits who temporarily took a more subtle form.
Where
And
did
we
they
always,
get the magical energy from?
well, that's not known, but it is pretty clear that they do have a lot of magical energy.
It is possible that they took the magical energy from you.
Oh, like Dorothy? Why she fainted?
Not just that, from each of them.
Mm.
But
For
we know that
just a
nothing
moment,
in the
I
weekend.
had to make sure that you're not talking about the readers of the story.
I
They
mean,
took it
I am
from
tired as well.
you!
Maybe it did. It probably costs more energy to incorporate for the kid, so it is later to a natural state, and flee in spirit form. But not be solid by default. But sometimes she becomes liquid,
Hmm.
and has multiple limitations on top of that. Knowing the performance of the energy of it kept her going, but in the aftermath of it, the ghost of it crawled up into her body. Ah, that sounds like the dancing shows. You know that story, right?
I didn't quite understand what you said, actually.
It reminds me of the dancing shoes, the infinite dancing shoes.
Okay.
When put on your body, starts dancing without you being able to stop. That might actually be... Ah! What it's called? Not Tasha's Hideout's laughter, but the other... the
Oto's
dancing one.
irresistible dance.
The what?
Oto's irresistible dance.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, that's... in the story that no shoes voluntarily has been that spell.
Hmm.
But the immortal limitation beyond what is normal capable of, it's only a temporary state for her. When the performance passes, she is banned, and therefore grabs it onto the cave floor. Ah! You know why he left? Because, 10 tenters have been passed. The spell faded. Nerfy! Something guys out in the arm, and almost shouted after the unconscious gamer. But the egg is faster, because she's smaller for one thing, and then more for the affected. As such, he is immediately able to charge after nerfing the one is about to start to fall. There you go. Both the team for the team.
Sure, I guess it's a little more intense.
For them, they might feel that. There is too much distance between them, but when they are too close to the between Nerfy's hand in the ground. But there is no Nerfy or spectacle later. There's gonna be a little starmate from on the ground. From there, they apply the hoof to a few spots on Nerfy to check for wider size. It takes some months for to register a hard mid. The number could be marked there. Oh, mumble! I was like, the mark, mark? The very first angry sign that the nerf is still moving. Aside from a sudden and intense explosion, that seems fine. In fact, maybe better than fine. That means unconscious with a peaceful and angel-like smile on her face. And she is dreaming about heaven itself. Give us one. It's being installed. Tell them when you act with them now, and I will immediately and organizing them out of the locality. Find out if she is safe and fine. Working on it? And the carry applied with an actually questioning reflection to her tone. Is something wrong? But I replied, because of her reaction. Let me guess. You tried to record the spirits and it messed with the drones. The drones are glitching right now, but you can report with a highly surprised tone. I may have to remove them. What does that mean? I asked with a questioning wind. Ah, it means I have to try to turn them off and on again.
It means I'll have to kick them, but I'll have to do it twice to reboot them.
But I don't wear any boots.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have to put on boots. That reminds me of another funny comment from one of the children of a former roommate of mine. She says, "You're retarded because you retarded more than once."
Huh? Now I see why you're like laughing. It means I will have to turn them off and then on again. I put it on and said it before he said it. This guy replied, "If I do so, it may fix whatever is wrong with these things." Then she got in position with running. This might mean that later I can just want to go to be considered as well. That would totally be a pity. No, it could mean that your whole data bank can be corrupted as well. Unless it is on a several times hard drive, which I don't really think is the case here.
I bet you the TARDIS could record it. It kind of is up on that level.
Yeah. How is she? So that's after setting up the 2 beds. Stable, the report. Not stable, she's a pony. The rest is peaceful, but unconscious. I'm not sure why, but I guess it's a notion. Then sighs in a bit of relief after hearing that, but she gets some knowledge again. But she ends up selling the rest of the cave. The first time ever, in the midst of a meeting with a small and possibly chronicles. That must be doesn't feel welcoming anymore, which is highly unusual compared to the normal standard they have ever otherwise gotten from the side on the trust and time. Since the experience has been overwhelmingly positive, wherever they have gone for over a week now, this whole moment with the spot of darkness feels definitely different in comparison. They are no longer accustomed to this, so we stand out all the more. Be ready for action, Darwin cautions. I says nature a hoof. Me too. I do agree. That's a favorite to stand up on the end. Father? Then calls over my shoulder. Can you lift and count up close to you carefully? Father looks at her. You think she is twice my do you know that she's twice my weight? I mean, probably she is. Maybe you should take her out to the cave as well. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, her thought process is their current location starting to feel dangerous.
Yeah, but outside is actually, my god, without a lot of oxygen and
Windy.
windy, yeah. I can try, and the volunteers, and I'll say to the right and not to Kelly. Well, you request hopefully. A little help? I want to be careful with her. They're running controls with the crowd, which are no longer floating but is the same net on the ground. The guy sighs with frustration. This is confusion that shakes her hand. Driving for running further wind and not happened to him. Right, we will do this together. Once we have found you out, I can pop her in the old-fashioned way. I also suspect that might help me gather some data, as my gems are malfunctioning too. So, you might think that it is because she was recording, but we have established that all of these spirits have elemental charge in them, and they can pass through objects and ponies.
Right?
What would happen if one passed through the drone with active charge?
That's a good question.
Probably what happened right here.
I tell you what, too. The drones actually run off magical energy, not exactly electricity. You could call that magical energy too if you want to, but it's energy of a certain type, which is what the elemental spirits are also. So there could be an interaction when they pass through each other.
Yeah? I mean, they don't even have to pass through each other. They have to just be in the close by.
It may have a similar effect as a magnet passes by another magnet.
I was literally about to say the same thing. I mean, there is a reason why the little write on every hard drive, don't put it near a magnet.
Right.
This is even something safe before you try it on Rafi. Let me suggest on Torah. I'll do it quickly, please. But you can't go films with this with a lot. You get some money by having a little float out of her mouth and make it to her mouth. When she does, this is fully, and with no delay whatsoever. Yeah, but once again, Rafi is a little bit heavier than a lollipop.
Oh yeah. But she at least confirmed her magic works at all.
Yeah? I need to pay her to make it a success. I'm willing to engage in that test. The emotional in and Susan Rapi's money. Challenged by two medical overs. With the none, they easily must stay carefully from the unconscious mare. Closer to themselves. I don't like the way those things surrounding this person. Something content that I don't like. Maybe they sense whatever danger or trouble or something this way. Or perhaps they even summoned it. They summoned it? No, not the way around. Someone summoned these. I don't think they summoned it. Like argues as she has door for rooms and takes her hand slightly forward over to her face. Ah, so she is in adventuring mode.
Right, she is, definitely.
That actually reminds me of this. Why you told me to. You
Okay.
have to turn the cap to capture anyone. But I don't think they send it. Those creatures, of which I suspect were ancient versions of a species known in my time as Quill, seem entirely operate on primitive, but also highly sensitive instinct. If you are right, then do you have any idea what it could be? Something as I knew closely. The danger, I mean. It could be the lake. I knew guessing. And it says, these evil creatures often follow the way of the king, for some reason. If I'm right. Nah, it is Romnia.
I'm not sure if you read that sentence up above. That's like, she has a piercing eye scanning under the edge of her hat. 2 paragraphs above.
I don't know, but you just did.
Yeah, you stopped right before that sentence, and I, for some reason, seemed to skip it after that.
Yeah, because it was talking about her hat at the same time. They are still being off the corner of her right eye. If you had to engage creatures that emit a lot of fire by their mere presence. Oh, goody! Something sarcastic replied. What is that one? Sarcastic. I can use a little one after all those cold spawns out of this game. This is high elevation. That she misses. That's why I need oxygen too. It's strange to get those education at such high altitude, accordingly. No, magical fire doesn't need oxygen. Because it is not burning the oxygen itself. It is burning the magic. Energy that is being fed. I would actually assume that you can get fire spells in the golden space as well. I don't know yet. I never met them before. I mean, I never met the kid either. Like, I met Susan. All my knowledge is in a species come from obscure books I found, and then as well as evidence I discovered in ancient ruins. But most species used to run. Some of these places have ponies. Other species and movements have tales and legends about those who used to reside there. Hey, what's this? Something asked curiously. I see most a new object on the ground. It is very close to where the people was. Something shows it off with a large brown feather. They examined it closely. What seems to be what she sees appears to be some kind of flower. The stem in a loose S-shaped pattern. As well as it is a U-shaped pattern that comes outward in the end of it. As she examines it, using the pattern of this flower, her eyes blue.
The next sentence will be seeing that.
Seeing that, she gives a mad try before I suddenly noticed that wearing blue, and that's her. Wait a second.
Oh my. Whoa. There was a mistake there.
Where?
Do should be capitalized. It's close
Ah. Is this the album flower that we were thinking? I would actually think it's close to this.
Okay, fix that mistake.
Some blue is.
Nice.
Ice blue lily! Wait. It's what?
Is that a mistake?
I think lily should be warm, but I don't know.
Well, looking at the document, it's not highlighted by anything to indicate it's a spelling or grammar error.
Okay, most are fine, they say.
Okay.
Never mind, then yes, that's it. Was she not? She also wanted to write with a yes. That excellently report. Yes, that is indeed the flower we speak. Except, they tears off. I see nothing in the detail. This is about with this flower. It doesn't really posted with glitter of tiny crystals on it that this flower had. Those exhibition reveals that the process crystals emit a very standing glow. Very standing glow to them. Yes. Crystals. What's wrong? So nice with the nervous edge to your tone. Which was on disappointment. This fellow isn't normal, isn't possible in champs like this. They report. The starving man to her. Down to look at the flower, sitting her left brown wing. More close in the nest. Isn't it a bad thing? Do you think it may still work? Also, I don't understand. Seems to be broken at the base. So this one picked them off from on the ground. The thing has become. They knew that had. I get the feeling that the frost and jam on this flower are meant to help preserve it. Especially indefinitely. So it is so good. That asked with a rising cheer. Sounds like it is left by the current. Yes, I
Okay.
think so. The guess was. In fact, I think the better the use to preserve it, let's really make sure it remains useful to us. A parting gift from the current, something guessing. Maybe gratitude for allowing them to nest and see with us. But they do so with nothing. She did her hands curiously. And how did they know we were singing this flower anyway? I don't know. They replied with a shake of her head. It's a lot about this adventure, and it was not for me. Having tells me that these kids are not totally like the ones that what existed closer to our time. The kids I read about in the future is structured after all. But these ones don't seem capable of normal speech, or even logic at all. Are you sure they were not talking to each other at the same time? On a higher level?
No, she's not sure. That was established in the very beginning of this paragraph.
I mean, she said normal speech.
Hmm.
To them, this might be the normal, but for you, no.
You could be right.
But I seem to thought. So they might have some other trait. It's like super instinct and such. I would so much want to play the water racing music in the background, but I can't. For all I know, they might all be highly psychic and not in tune with each other. In a sense,
Which should be a form of communication.
yeah. But also, it is a good thing that Vision is not here.
Hmm.
If Dorothy was this much affected by it, the Vision would be even more.
Probably, yeah.
If you are right, that might explain how and why the movement and music were such a perfect sync with each other. So we figured, they were meant to communicate with each other so fast, it's as if they all had in one mind. Saying not, they said, my thoughts, exactly. Anyway, he just flower back to the others and tell them to preserve it. I mean, it already is preserved.
Hmm. Well, you mean? I think you know what she means, like protected. But I know what you mean too.
I know what I mean. Put it in the thermite or something. I don't want to see anyone near the front line. It's why we have come here after all. And after all this effort we made to secure a sample, I don't want to risk losing it. So we note and says, you get it. He then goes her way back to Feather and Dr. Kelly, and report what they have discovered so far, and what to do accordingly. So we almost finishes updating the rest of her friends. But there's off, and they all hear familiar and multitude of laughter, and echo around them. And immediately puts them against the edge, and scare out.
Hold on. This is one of the stopping points I was referring to. Is that it shifts tone dramatically after that. Do you feel ready to continue, or you're around the 4,000 mark for in terms of the words out of 10,000?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good to stop here. Because, and I said, my load is very stuffy. And you will probably see me trying to get it out, but not really happening.
I almost suggested for you to highlight the sentence and copy it, but you could just bookmark it. Boom.
Boom.
Or maybe you like to bookmark the next paragraph because that's where you actually left off.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Well,
easier to see because it's the first italic sentence in the whole thing.
why don't you back off from this chapter so you don't see too many spoilers ahead now? And then tell me what you think so far.
I can do that.
What was that?
For some reason, when I ran back, it decided that, oh, you are gonna go night mode. And it even
Yeah.
got rid of the bookmark. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go back up. There you go.
Hey, what'd you think of the chapter so far?
Okay, let's first of all, let's some music.
Sure.
Ah, this is gonna be good for when they meet him.
Yeah, you got more than half of the chapter still left. Like 6,700 words or so. But
But yeah.
I'd say the first third is about done, and it really just describes the heaven part. But it began to shift tones already towards the end there. That.
Yeah, once again, this whole thing reminded me of that one episode. And just because Derpy is fine, her body is fine, her might not be here.
Yeah, that state is questionable, but the Kieran didn't seem to have hostile intentions. It still doesn't mean that there wasn't harm caused, but it might not. If it did happen, meaning harm, it was probably not intentional. And also, they left a gift, which
Yeah?
happened to be exactly what they're seeking in this time period.
Are you
Um,
sure it is
but-
a gift? Or did they
hmm.
trade Derpy's soul for the flower?
Yeah, you have to wonder about that. There's also their sudden departure, which left the atmosphere feeling different after that. And this party noticed that keenly because up until now, except for the encounter with Trouble earlier, The environment's been overwhelmingly positive, so drastically so that when it's different, it easily stands out.
Hmm. Yeah, I have one answer to that question. How did the kid know that they are searching for the flower?
That's what
Remember,
they were
no,
wondering that too.
nothing was intense the whole time. For
Right.
all we know, they might have had a conversation with the kid.
That was implied as a suggestion that is a potential communication method of the Kirin, was they could be highly telepathic. And if they were, that would help to explain why they were able to move with such synchronicity and such perfect movements, as if they were all one individual.
Yeah,
That's probably a little more typical trait of a telepathic race. You might have seen instances of a march of an army where you have a camera aimed right at them and all of their leg movements seem perfectly synchronized.
yeah. I
So
mean, they knew
something
back then that.
so something like that, but their movements is way more artistic.
I mean, is it artistic or primal?
Hmm, right.
I mean, even primal dances can be artistic.
So overall, you feeling like you have a lot of questions, or do you just strongly suspect certain things, which kind of means it's not really a question?
First of all, I thought that the spirits were just a trick playing by someone, but now I'm sure that they weren't. Someone just came because he noticed that the spirits are here. What are they doing? And the kid is here as well.
Then, do you think they did kind of summon trouble, but maybe not intentionally?
Yeah, they summoned him by being here, but not summoned.
Yeah, like we're intentionally trying to summon trouble.
He was
Come
just
to us,
saying
trouble.
that
Yep.
this is out of the ordinary.
Right.
Maybe I have a chance to stir up something.
Could be.
And there was
Right.
also Discord called by the spirit and drones. Glitching is not really a part of harmony.
Yeah, that's true too. We established that the music was too pure for them to consciously remember, although they were able to preserve the emotion, and that does influence the rest of the lives too. Plus, the recording got corrupted in the drones, and it's causing it to glitch. So she has to reboot it.
Yeah, and there is nothing left of it. There was nothing. A glitch and nothing else.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find out if the drones work at all. But even if they do, we're probably suspecting that it has not much memory of that particular moment during the dance, at least.
That kind of reminds me of some people who are not joining the party, but instead recording everything.
Right? Yeah, there's people out there like that.
I was one of them.
She likes to study things and interact with things very scientifically.
Likes to or used to.
Hmm.
She doesn't have to like it, but it is normal for her to think like that. Oh yeah, I have to preserve everything.
Well, she's kind of excited right now. a tourist going on a big tour of time and space. Um, and she considers what she's doing important because she can take those records back to her people to confirm or deny the information they had.
Also, now she's the only doctor who is in this time and place.
Hmm. Yep. Well, at least that we know of.
I mean, yeah, but of this group, she's the only one.
Correct. That said, Daring Do by now has some medical training. I would at least consider it as good as the first aid level. And we kind of have seen that a little bit in the show. I remember her wrapping her wing in bandages.
Yeah,
By pony standards, it seemed professional.
I mean, there's a difference between practical applied to medical knowledge and actual know-how.
Right. I do not consider her a professional doctor by any stretch, but she could patch her wounds enough to so she can get up and keep moving.
I mean, yeah, I
And she might even be able to cleanse herself of some toxins. And
I can 100% say that we are gonna reach the fun part of the story, but what
Mhm.
actually happened?
Well, that's probably the going theory. It's been the only antagonist that's ever appeared in the story so far. At least potentially so.
Antagonist or anti-hero?
Maybe, yeah. We'll have to find out.
And I said, I want to see now a Queen of Hearts.
What was established about that character so far is whatever it's trying to do, it's doing so for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah,
Because what need is such a creature need of some things like money? Um, a creature like that is beyond such things. So when it has all of eternity to work with,
I mean,
entertainment may actually become a very high priority then, because the alternative would be boredom.
what will it even do with money without civilization here?
Hmm.
Probably no, we have not seen any sentient beings. I mean, we have seen
Yeah,
animals, but not society.
and they also seem elemental spirits, but that's basically at the same level. Correct. There's nothing that they encountered besides trouble that talked to them.
I mean, there's one thing he can do with money. He can play more play alone.
I remember there was an episode where Discord snapped one of his claws, and a huge pile of money almost basically crushed a certain shop pony, making that person very, very wealthy. But that raised a question to some of the viewers that looked in that, like, wondering how his powers work. Did he create those coins, or did he summon them from somewhere else?
Once again, I still might say that all of his powers are purely illusions. They might be
Hmm.
physical illusions, but illusions.
It could be. In that case, since you put it that way, like say he creates some dance ponies, like in some kind of bar, where he summoned Big Mac and uh, and Spike to. Do you think the other ponies in the background don't truly have a soul, but just illusionary puppets that he crafted? By the
I
same token, you could ask the same question when he brought them into ogres and oubliettes with those cardboard cutouts. Do you think that every figure that was in there had no true emotion behind him?
I mean, for all we know, he might just create NPCs, or he might have made other ponies be the NPCs.
Hmm. Could be. I, it's his powers are quite mysterious, and potentially, even he may not be aware of the answer.
I mean, the power of illusions are strong. You can make you believe that you are a bartender, and you are
I heard
always prepping.
I heard of a concept like that in the Sonic universe, where there's a certain kind of gem that can create very powerful illusions that affects perception, but to an extremely great degree.
Ah, for some reason, I heard jam, and I thought like jam that you spend on the on the toast.
Oh no, G-
Yeah, I know.
GEM.
Yeah, I realize you mean crystal jam. But first I was like, wait, what jam?
Well, thanks to the influence of that gem, it was able to create a sun or switch around gravity and things like that. So, in that particular medium, it's confirmed that they are illusions and pretty pretty strong ones.
Yeah,
They
I'm.
affect you so profoundly that your body reacts as if it's real.
I mean, thanks to this jam, that's what's happening here. The RP is now unconscious.
Yep.
They were
The
having a jamming session.
the reason may not be completely clear yet, but that's something we know right now.
Yeah,
And for all that, she does appear to be unconscious in a blissful state. Um, she had a heavenly smile on her face.
but if she's dead, at least she was happy.
Oh man, you think I'd
No,
do that to Derpy? Kill her off right now? No, I'm gonna deny that one. Besides, she was
I
breathing.
will keep this in mind.
They checked that.
Once again, I said this doesn't mean that her mind is here.
That part is questionable. Yes,
She might be in a coma. For all we know.
possibly. Yeah. Fortunately, they have a doctor here,
I
and
mean,
as
that's
soon as the
not really happy if the kid, I think, in her soul. But I don't think that happened. I
probably
think this
not,
is just a notion.
but that's a scientific and magical doctor, so there's multiple ways she can help scan and heal other people. Now, her equipment might be on the fritz for the moment, but hopefully it will recover soon.
Now, one thing I want to see, which is probably not gonna happen, is that obviously trouble is coming,
Mhm.
and he would be like, ah, I saw you dancing, but you didn't join. Only this one danced, and she was so tired that she fell asleep. Why don't you join? Otto's irreversible dance for all of you.
Okay. So your prediction here is trouble's about to come,
Yeah. And once again,
and
they
and both
might
both senses
realize
of the
that
word.
she's not that big of a trouble.
Okay.
He is troublesome and serving some girl he's got, but
All right. So you think that the entity is not entirely antagonistic?
I
Maybe
never
even.
thought he would be.
All right. Would you have the opposite theory then that the entity might even secretly be helpful?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, no, I think he is gonna do whatever is the more fun
All right.
choice.
Then that'd be whimsical. Sounds actually kind of neutral in that case.
Yeah, I mean, just like this one, right?
guess.
No, in the later part he was not that neutral, but
We're kind of describing something that's chaotic neutral. Is that really what you think? Definitely, probably chaotic evil from the start. I'll really hold that one down. Um, though he certainly could have been worse back then. Um, towards the end, though, would you say chaotic neutral or chaotic good?
I mean for now I don't know. Well, I would probably say neutral by now, but what I see from this place, it is full of harmony. There's nothing in it, just spirits, and he has nothing to do. He is bored, and then suddenly police appear.
the even the environment might have a heavy spiritual nature because it does have some unusual qualities too. For instance, Daring Do simply has to hope to find nuts, and suddenly she does, and it keeps on happening every time. It's like the environment changes to suit your whims and needs.
I mean, it would kind of be annoying at one point.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why high-standing normal people seek out of their castle, running out away from um, their servants, just to be on their own. It happened multiple times in history.
I and I certainly heard of that in stories too. Some of them might describe that as boredom of
Yeah.
this old lifestyle, or it might be feel stifling to them. Um, or there might be certain pressures to them, um, from like maybe a social level, where they might feel it's restrictive.
Now imagine being a being of chaos
Okay.
itself, and
Yeah.
being stuck in a place where everything actually does what you want. Not because you do it, but because, oh, yeah, you are part of this environment, and we are being helpful to you. Being sad. It will
All right.
anger you. You will
That
hate it there.
does that does not sound chaotic.
Yeah,
But it is at least subject to change. The environment here proved it's not static. It's like it's constantly one thing, and it can't ever be anything except for one thing: harmonic. That part appears really steady, unless something unusual shows up.
yeah, and we do know from Discord that you do have to do something chaotic once in a while, just to keep up your powers
Right.
and not feel sick.
Or start fading away their own form of sickness. Right.
And you have a phone call.
No, it's an alarm.
Oh no! But yeah,
I have to turn off my battery for that I have my bike charging on.
but yeah. So we are stopping right here,
Okay.
and we are continuing in tonight.
Question. Are
Yes.
we having
Yeah.
Heroes of Justice
Yes,
tomorrow?
we are doing today.
All right. Post the link for both of them, okay?
Okay. So yeah.
Although I'm not sure if I can attend today because I do have other plans. I'm joining someone on a trip
I
around
mean,
that time.
I hope I will be able to do it because who knows? Something might happen. Something chaotic.
If you, yeah, if you do it, then I'll look forward to watching.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and see
All
you
right.
next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.